I'm John Doe, 32 years old, marketing manager, normal life, normal marriage. Or so I thought. Her name was Emma. We met in college. She had this smile that made bad days disappear. We got married at 26, small ceremony, her family. My family. Happy tears everywhere. Life was good. We had routines, Sunday pancakes, Friday movie nights. We'd text each other dumb memes during work. She'd leave sticky notes on the bathroom mirror. Love you, idiot. I trusted her completely. She worked in finance, long hours sometimes, but I never questioned it. Why would I? We were solid. 6 years together. Talked about kids, looked at bigger apartments, planned vacations we'd take when we saved enough. Everything felt right until it didn't. It started small. She stopped leaving notes, stopped laughing at my jokes. Her phone was always face down, always. When I'd walk into a room, she'd close her laptop quickly, too quickly. Just work stuff, she'd say. I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Then she told me about the trip. A work conference in Singapore, 2 weeks. Big client meeting, career opportunity. She seemed excited. More excited than she'd been in months. I drove her to the airport, kissed her goodbye, watched her walk through security. She didn't look back. But then, small things started to change. The first 3 days were normal. Texts, photos of her hotel, complaints about jet lag, then silence. Day 4, no reply. Day 5, one-word answers. Day 6, nothing. I called, voicemail. I called again, voicemail. My chest felt tight. Something was wrong. I could feel it. Day 7, my phone buzzed. Finally, a message from Emma. But it wasn't what I expected. I want a divorce. 5 words. That's all she sent. No explanation, no call, just text. Like she was canceling a subscription. I stared at my screen, read it again and again. My hands were shaking. This had to be a joke, a hack, something. I called. Blocked. I texted back. What are you talking about? Call me, please. Nothing. Then another message came through. I've already filed. My lawyer will contact you. Don't call me again. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. My wife. The woman I'd shared a bed with for 6 years. The woman who cried at our wedding. She was divorcing me. By text, from another country. I couldn't breathe. I called her best friend, Sarah. Do you know what's going on? Long pause. Too long. Sarah, tell me. She sighed. I'm sorry, I thought you knew. She's been seeing someone for months. The room spun. Who? A guy from her office. Daniel. They've been close. Really close. I think she went to Singapore with him, not for work. My vision blurred. I hung up, sat on the couch, stared at the wall. Everything made sense now. The distance, the secrecy, the fake smiles. She didn't go to Singapore for work. She went there to be with him. And while she was living her new life, she decided to throw away our marriage like it meant nothing. I checked our joint bank account. She'd withdrawn half. Exactly half. 3 days before she left. She planned this. I looked at our wedding photo on the shelf. We looked so happy. So stupid. I wanted to scream. To break something. To call her and beg for answers. But I didn't. Because in that moment, sitting in our apartment surrounded by 6 years of memories, I realized something. She thought this was over. She thought she'd won. She thought I'd just sign the papers and disappear. But they made one mistake. They thought I was broken. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I got cold. Focused. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. Marcus Chen. Best divorce attorney in the city. Expensive. Ruthless. Perfect. I walked into his office with printed bank statements, tax records, everything. She filed in Singapore, I said. Wants it done fast. Clean split. Marcus leaned back. And you want? I want her to regret every second of this. He smiled, the kind of smile that costs $400 an hour. Tell me everything. I did. The trip, the affair, the text, the withdrawal. Marcus took notes. Then he looked up. Here's what most people don't know. Singapore has strict divorce laws, but she filed there thinking she'd have control. She didn't read the fine print. What fine print? Jurisdictional conflict. She filed there. But you're both still legal residents here. And we have community property laws. She can't just take half and run, especially not if we prove infidelity and premeditation. My heart started beating faster. Can we prove it? If she's traveling with him, if they're sharing hotel rooms, if there are messages, yes, we can prove it. And judges here don't like cheaters who hide assets. I nodded. What do we do? First, we don't sign anything. Second, we file a counterpetition here. Third, we request a forensic audit of all her accounts and communications. And fourth? He paused, leaned forward. We add a silent clause. What's that? A clause she won't notice buried in the settlement terms. If she's found to have hidden assets, lied under oath, or committed fraud during proceedings, she forfeits her claim. Everything. Alimony, property, retirement, everything. I felt a chill run through me. Will she sign it? If her lawyer's careless? Absolutely. Most people skim settlement drafts. They see the big numbers and sign. They don't read page 17, paragraph 9, subsection C. I smiled. First time in a week. Do it. Marcus went to work. Fast. Filed the counterpetition, requested the audit, sent discovery requests. Emma's lawyer was some guy in Singapore who didn't understand local law. Big mistake. Meanwhile, I hired a private investigator. Expensive, worth it. Within a week, I had photos, Emma and Daniel, holding hands at Sentosa Beach, kissing outside a restaurant, sharing a hotel room at the Marina Bay Sands. Not a work trip, a vacation, with my money. The investigator also found something else, something beautiful. Daniel was married too. I sat in Marcus's office staring at the photos. His wife doesn't know? Nope. Want to tell her? I thought about it, then shook my head. Not yet. Let's see how this plays out first. Emma's lawyer sent over the settlement draft. 50-50 split. No alimony. Clean break. She wanted it fast. Marcus read through it. Then he rewrote it. Changed some numbers. Added some language. Buried the silent clause deep inside the document. Page 19. Small font. Legal jargon. He sent it back. Minor adjustments for tax purposes, he wrote. Client agrees to expedite. 3 days later, Emma signed it. Electronically, from Singapore. She didn't read it. She just wanted it done. Marcus looked at me. Now we trigger the clause. How? We submit the evidence, the photos, the bank records, the hotel receipts. We prove she lied about the nature of her trip, that she used marital funds for an affair, that she premeditated the divorce. And then she loses everything. But what came next changed me forever. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. Emma flew back. She had to. Court order. I saw her for the first time in over a month. She looked different, tanned, confident. She walked in with Daniel by her side. Bold move. She smiled at me. Not a kind smile. A victorious smile. She thought she'd already won. Marcus stood up, presented the evidence, the photos, the receipts, the witness testimony from the investigator, the bank withdrawals. Emma's face went white. Her lawyer scrambled. Your Honor, this is irrelevant. They agreed to a no-fault... Marcus cut him off. Respectfully, counsel, if you refer to page 19, subsection C of the signed settlement, you'll see that any evidence of fraud or material misrepresentation voids the agreement entirely. The judge put on her glasses, read the clause, looked at Emma's lawyer. "Did your client read this before signing?" He stuttered. We reviewed the main points, Your Honor, but nothing. She signed a legal document. The clause is valid." Emma finally spoke. "I didn't know that was in there." The judge looked at her coldly. "That's not a legal defense, Mrs. Harrison. Ignorance of what you signed doesn't nullify a contract." Marcus continued. "Your Honor, we're requesting full enforcement of the clause. Based on the evidence of adultery, financial deception, and fraudulent representation of travel purposes using marital funds, we ask that the respondent forfeit her claim to all contested assets." The judge reviewed the documents, every photo, every receipt, every text Marcus had subpoenaed. Finally, she spoke. "I'm granting the petitioner's request. The settlement is voided. All marital assets will be divided according to state law, with consideration for misconduct. Mrs. Harrison, you are entitled to nothing beyond your personal belongings and your separate accounts from before the marriage." Emma stood up. "That's not fair. You can't." "I can, and I did. We're adjourned." The gavel hit. Emma collapsed into her chair. Daniel put his hand on her shoulder. She shoved it off. I walked out of that courtroom feeling empty. Not happy, not sad, just empty. I'd won. She'd lost everything. The apartment, the car, her half of my retirement account. Even the joint savings she thought she'd already secured, but winning didn't feel like I thought it would. That night, I sat alone in the apartment. Our apartment, my apartment now. I looked around. Every corner had a memory. Good ones, real ones. Or at least they felt real. Did she ever love me? Or was I just convenient? A placeholder until someone better came along? I'd never know, and maybe that was okay. 2 weeks later, I got a message from Emma. "Can we talk?" I stared at it for an hour. Finally replied, "About what?" "I'm sorry, I messed up. I know that now. Daniel left me, went back to his wife. I have nothing. I wanted you to know I'm sorry." I read it 3 times, felt nothing. "Sorry doesn't fix what you did." "I know, but I need you to understand. I was confused. I thought I wanted something different. I was wrong." "You weren't confused. You were selfish. There's a difference." She didn't reply after that. A month later, Sarah called me. "Emma's moving back in with her parents. She can't afford rent. Lost her job too. Daniel's wife called her boss, made a formal complaint about the affair." "How is she?" "Miserable. She keeps asking about you." "Tell her I'm fine." "Are you?" I thought about it. Yeah, I actually am. And I was. Slowly. I started going to the gym again, reconnected with old friends, took a weekend trip to the mountains, breathed air that didn't smell like betrayal. I even started dating. Casually, nothing serious. But it felt good to remember I was still capable of being wanted. One night, I deleted all of Emma's photos from my phone. Every single one. It took 20 minutes. 6 years of memories gone. I didn't feel sad. I felt lighter. I realized something important. Revenge wasn't about making her suffer. It was about reclaiming my dignity, my power, my life. She tried to throw me away like I was nothing, like 6 years meant nothing. But I wasn't nothing. I was someone who deserved better. And now I had the space to find it. And that's when I realized this story wasn't about them anymore. 6 months after the divorce finalized, I was sitting in a coffee shop, writing in a journal my therapist recommended. A woman sat down across from me, late 20s, kind eyes. She smiled. "Is this seat taken?" "No, go ahead." We started talking. Her name was Rachel, graphic designer, funny, real. No games, no hidden phones. We exchanged numbers. Started texting. Actually texting, not one-word replies, real conversations. On our third date, she asked me, Have you ever been in love before? I paused, thought about Emma, thought about everything. I thought I was, but I don't think I knew what real love was. I just knew what it felt like to be needed. That's different. She nodded. Yeah, it really is. I didn't tell her the whole story that night, but eventually I did. All of it. The text, the betrayal, the revenge, the clause. She listened without judgment. When I finished, she said, "Do you regret it? The revenge?" No, I needed it, not to hurt her, but to prove to myself I wasn't powerless. And now? Now I'm just trying to be better than I was. That's enough. She reached across the table, held my hand. I think you're doing pretty great. I smiled. A real smile. The kind I hadn't felt in over a year. Life didn't magically become perfect after the divorce. I still had bad days. Days where I wondered what went wrong. Days where I missed who I thought Emma was. But those days got fewer, quieter, easier. I learned something important. Betrayal doesn't just break you, it reveals you. It shows you who you really are when everything falls apart. And I wasn't the broken man Emma left behind. I was someone stronger, someone who knew his worth, someone who wouldn't settle for crumbs when he deserved a feast. The last time I thought about Emma was on what would have been our 7th anniversary. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry. I felt grateful. Grateful she showed me who she really was before I wasted any more time. Grateful I had the strength to fight back. Grateful I didn't just roll over and accept her version of our ending. I wrote my own ending. And it was better. Emma texted me one more time, months later. I heard you're seeing someone. I hope you're happy. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. I was happy. Not because of revenge, not because she was suffering, but because I finally understood something. Betrayal broke me, but it also rebuilt me. And the man who came out the other side, he's someone I'm proud to be. So that's my story. A marriage that ended in a text message. A wife who thought she could take everything. And a lawyer who knew exactly how to make sure she didn't. But here's what I really learned. Revenge isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's about protection. Protecting your dignity, your future, your peace. If you've ever trusted someone who hurt you, I hope this story reminds you of something important. You're not powerless, you're not broken, and you deserve better than someone who treats you like you're disposable. It took me a long time to believe that, but I do now. If this story hit you in any way, leave a comment. Tell me your story. You don't have to share details. Just let me know you're out there, that you survived something hard too. Hit the like button if you made it this far. Subscribe if you want to hear more real stories like this, because I've got plenty more to tell. And remember, sometimes the best revenge isn't payback. It's becoming the person they regret losing. I'll see you in the next one.